Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're diving deep into the world of woodworking, but not just the basics. We're uncovering the hidden techniques, the tricks of the trade that separate good woodworking from truly exceptional work. Sometimes the biggest impact comes from understanding the little things, the nuances that can transform an average project into a masterpiece. We're talking about mastering the grain, achieving flawless finishes, and adding those extra touches that make your work stand out from the crowd. So if you're ready to take your woodworking to the next level, stick around. We're going to explore 5 essential techniques that will transform the way you approach your projects. Get ready to unlock the secrets of hidden woodworking techniques. All right, let's talk about wood grain. It's one of the most beautiful and unique aspects of working with wood, but it can also be a bit tricky if you don't know how to work with it. Now, every board you pick up has a story to tell, a story written in its grain lines. These lines, these patterns, they aren't just pretty decorations. They're like a roadmap showing you the strongest and most beautiful way to work with that piece of wood. The first things first, you got to learn how to read that roadmap. Look at the board from different angles, run your hand over it, feel the direction of the grain. See how the light plays off those lines? That's going to tell you how the wood wants to be worked. Now, when you're planing or sanding, you want to go with the grain, not against it. Think of it like petting a cat. You want to go from head to tail, not the other way around. Going against the grain can cause tear out, those little fuzzy bits that make your finish look rough. But when you work with the grain, you get a smooth, almost glass-like surface. By understanding grain direction, you can create some really cool visual effects. For example, you can use contrasting grain patterns to create a sense of depth or movement in your work. Think about a tabletop. Instead of just slapping boards together, imagine arranging them so the grain flows naturally across the surface like a gentle wave. And it's not just about looks. Working with the grain also makes your project stronger and more stable. Wood is naturally stronger along the grain lines. So by orienting your pieces correctly, you're essentially reinforcing your work from the inside out. Take the time to study the grain of your wood. Don't just see it as a bunch of lines, see it as a map, a guide to creating beautiful and durable woodworking projects. Trust me, your projects will thank you for it. We all have our trusty woodworking tools, right? The saws, the chisels, the planes, they're like extensions of our hands. But here's the thing. Even the most basic tools can do extraordinary things if you know how to use them to their full potential. It's not just about knowing how to hold a chisel or make a cut, it's about understanding the nuances, the subtle adjustments that make all the difference. Let's take the humble chisel, for example. It's more than just a tool for chopping out waste wood. With the right technique, you can use it to create incredibly precise joints, smooth curves, and even delicate carvings. It's all about how you hold it, how you angle the blade, how much pressure you apply. And then there's sharpening. A sharp tool is a safe tool, and it's also the key to achieving professional quality results. A dull chisel will tear at the wood fibers, leaving a rough, uneven surface. But a sharp chisel will slice through those fibers cleanly, giving you a smooth, almost polished finish. And this goes for all your tools, not just chisels, saws, planes, even sandpaper. They all perform better when they're sharp. Now, I know sharpening can seem intimidating, but trust me, it's not as complicated as it looks. There are plenty of great resources out there, videos, books, even classes that can teach you the proper techniques. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature. But mastering the basics is just the beginning. As you progress in your woodworking journey, you'll discover a whole world of specialized tools and techniques that can take your work to the next level. Take hand planes, for example. There's a whole family of them, each with its own unique purpose. So you've got your smoothing planes for creating those glass-like surfaces, your jointers for flattening edges, your shoulder planes for trimming rabbets and grooves. The point is, there's always something new to learn, always a better way to do something. So don't be afraid to experiment, to try new tools and techniques, and most importantly, never stop learning. Now, let's talk about precision. In woodworking, precision isn't just about making things look pretty, although it definitely does that too. It's about creating projects that are built to last, projects that fit together perfectly, and function flawlessly for years to come. And the foundation of precision is joinery. A well-made joint is like a handshake, a solid connection between two pieces of wood that can withstand years of use and abuse. Now, there are countless types of joints out there, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. You've got your basic butt joints, your trusty lap joints, your elegant dovetails, the list goes on. But no matter what type of joint you're using, the key is accuracy. Every cut, every chisel blow, every surface needs to be dead on. Now, achieving this level of precision takes practice. There's no way around it. But there are a few things you can do to improve your accuracy right away. First, invest in some quality measuring and marking tools. A good combination square, a sharp marking knife, and a reliable ruler are essential for any woodworker. Second, take your time. Don't rush the process. Measure twice, cut once, and always double-check your work. And finally, don't be afraid to make test cuts. Before you start hacking away at your final pieces of wood, grab some scrap and practice the joint a few times. It's much better to make mistakes on scrap wood than on your final project. Now, once you've mastered the art of joinery, it's time to move on to the finishing touches. And by finishing touches, I don't just mean applying stain and varnish. I'm talking about achieving that flawless surface, the kind that feels silky smooth under your hand. This is where sanding and planing really come into play. Sanding is all about removing those tiny imperfections, those little bumps and scratches that can make your finish look dull and uneven. Start with a coarser grit sandpaper and work your way up to a finer grit, sanding in the direction of the grain, of course, and don't be afraid to spend time on this step. The smoother the surface, the better your finish will look. Planing is another crucial step in achieving a flawless finish, especially for larger surfaces. A well-tuned hand plane can remove the tiniest amount of material, creating a surface that's flat, smooth, and ready for finishing. Just remember, woodworking is a journey, not a race. Take your time, practice your techniques, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. All right, we've talked about mastering the grain, refining our tool techniques, and achieving precision in our joinery and surfaces. Now let's step outside the workshop for a moment, metaphorically speaking, and talk about those final touches that elevate a project from good to exceptional. These are the details that often get overlooked, but they can make a world of difference in the overall aesthetic of your work. Think about it. You walk into a furniture store and you see two seemingly identical tables. One looks like it just rolled off an assembly line, while the other has a certain charm, a character that draws you in. That difference, my friends, is in the details. One of the simplest yet most effective techniques is distressing. Now, I know what you're thinking, why would I intentionally damage my beautiful woodworking project? But trust me, when done right, distressing can add a sense of history, a story to your work that makes it truly unique. A few well-placed dents, scratches, or even wormholes can transform a brand new piece into a treasured heirloom. And the best part is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Let your creativity guide you. Another technique that can add a touch of elegance is antiquing. This involves applying a glaze or stain to the wood, then wiping it back to highlight the grain and create an aged patina. It's a great way to add depth and dimension to your projects, especially if you're going for a more traditional or rustic look. And then there are the protective finishes. A good finish does more than just protect your wood from moisture and UV damage. It also enhances the natural beauty of the wood grain and gives your project that final touch of polish. From oil finishes that bring out the warmth of the wood to durable polyurethanes that provide a tough, moisture-resistant barrier, there's a finish out there for every project and every style. But the key is to choose a finish that complements the piece and enhances its natural beauty. Don't be afraid to experiment, to try new things, and to develop your own unique style. After all, that's what makes woodworking so rewarding. Well, there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding wood grain to mastering tool techniques to adding those final touches that make all the difference. Remember, woodworking is a journey, not a destination. There's always something new to learn, always a way to improve your skills. So keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun. Now, I know some of these techniques might seem a little intimidating at first, but trust me, with a little practice, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow as woodworkers. And remember, the most important tool in your workshop is right between your ears. So use it. Now go out there and make something awesome, and be sure to share your creations with me in the comments below. Until next time, happy woodworking.